Hello and welcome back to Pcarmarket Live. My name is David Jacobson, and we are so happy to be back after the new year. We have Jim Barry back. Jim was out with the rest of the crew that didn't feel well and some coronavirus, and we're happy to have you back. How you feel, Jim?
I feel great. Good morning.
Good.
Nice to be back.
Yeah, nice to have you back. We're very excited. We're going to take you inside the market today to the 993 Turbo. We're going to see what's happening with that market. And what's really cool, Jim, is we actually had a real flurry of a bunch of sales that it's going to show people the gamut of the values of these cars, which is going to be absolutely a perfect way to present the values and of where they stand today, yes?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And also we're going to talk about a question from a gentleman who asked us a very broad question regarding the values of certain air-cooled cars going forward. We couldn't hit it all on this segment, but we're going to pick the F-bodies to the 964 and talk about future values, at least our take on it.
Yeah.
But before we do that, I want to give you a quick little tour. What's going on here is we have the crew back, feeling better, although not everyone is feeling great. We're still working on getting everyone back here, but we took another week and a half off and working remotely because of our construction we have going on right now. And I'm going to take you for a little tour on what's happening right now here. So take a look at... Here you go. This is what's happening. You see our little set that we set up here temporarily, and you can see the offices in Pcarmarket is going to have some extra internal space, and we're going to, we expanded last year. We hired more people. This is going to give us an opportunity to give them some workspace. We have workstations being built in the middle over here. So our little museum is going to be broken up a little bit, but it's going to wind up being a much more functional space. And a lot of you ask, questions about, where we are and how many people work here and what we do, and we're going to start getting you involved in that, and some of our crew will come on and say hello. Not today, but I always want to know when I'm dealing with a company, what's behind the scenes, what's going on, who's involved, and we appreciate those questions. But for now, we're going to dig right into the 993 Turbos. All right, Jim, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So the first car we have over here is a 993, 1996 993 Turbo Black. And I'll just set us up for this one, Jim. I know there's really a lot to talk about, but what we're going to do is we're going to go pretty swiftly through these cars because of the fact that we have about 5 or 6 of them to go through. But take a look. Here is once again, a 96 Turbo Black 993. You can see the car is beautifully, beautifully done. Mid-mileage car. We would say this is a concours condition car, just shy of 40,000 miles. Okay, but absolutely beautifully presented. You'll take a look at some of these photos over here if they ever load up. Here you go. And again, the 993 in black, Jim, is just a stunning car.
Yeah, when it's like this, when it's presented like this, it's had a full paint correction and it's like a sheet of glass, so...
Yeah, and there's no stories here, right? Nice presentation, fair, the responsive seller. Look at these photos, though. Look at this car. Many people consider this to be one of the best-looking cars ever built, let alone one of the most beautiful Porsches.
And it aged well.
Yeah,
that does not look like a car that's a 1996 car.
Look at that. Look at that photo. Look at that. That rear quarter view is just absolutely, absolutely stunning. But what else is it about this car that stood out?
Well, really, it's the condition. When you get to this type of mileage, you can go either way, right? This could have very easily just been like a driver. It could have also been a car that had a lot of needs. If it had 40,000 miles and never had any major service or was sitting for a while, it could have been a very different outcome in terms of the price. But this car was well-loved. You could tell the owner was very passionate. Kind of guy you want to buy a car from. I say that a lot, but he was one of those guys. It had some trophies and it's been to some events, and it was just really, I don't think you can get a nicer car with this mileage. It would be pretty hard to do.
Right. Well, here's what you have now. So here's 151,000. Okay, without the fee, plus the fee, 151,000, 40,000 mile original car, very well maintained, no excuses.
No.
So that's what you have over here. That's a good, solid starting point of where these cars are today. Now, what's interesting is these cars were, I'm going to say, considerably less about 6 months ago.
Yeah, between 6 months and a year, absolutely. There's been an uptick, and that's probably why we're talking about this here. We're seeing it, and we want to let everyone know what's going on, because these cars have, they were really, really high. We all know what happened to the air-cooled cars. They came down, And I think people are starting to realize these got pretty cheap for what they are. I know it's funny to say that about a six-figure car, but they are cheap for what they are.
Yeah, and you said this before, is that when you look at a new one that tops out at $250,000+, and you could buy a visceral, beautiful, almost an appreciating asset for half of that, all of a sudden this car becomes an attractive proposition.
It's a huge proposition. I mean, we sold our first 992 Turbo S yesterday. And that car,
the 992,
and 255 plus the fee.
Yep.
Right now they're trading a little over MSRP, it seems, because of the people want them. Everyone wants the newest car.
Yep.
So you got $100,000 less. You got this, and it's really debatable. I mean, I think there's a lot of people. If we put up one of those things on Instagram where you vote, I think a lot of people would pick this car over that. But then, listen, some people want that new car because you can just put it in drive. It's like a nice highway machine, so it's different. Same but different.
Yeah, this is what makes the world go round. What we love this so much, we love Porsche so much, is comparing the older ones to the new ones and what we enjoy about them. But here, I'm going to move on here because there's a good starting point. 151,000, nice black mid-mileage car. Great. Okay, now let's go over to the next one here. So this one here is a 1996 PTS Fly Yellow. That's a Ferrari color. And we know that once you say PTS on a Porsche, in most cases you're really going to talk about a premium as far as price is concerned. I guess the PTS premium is going to depend on how rare and special and eye-popping the color is. Yeah. Fly Yellow looks like Speed Yellow.
But it's great. We had the Speedster here. Remember that? It's beautiful.
We had a paint to sample Fly Yellow 964 Speedster, and it was special. But at the end of the day, it looks like Speed Yellow to me, and I understand. It's definitely different when you have them next to each other.
And we did.
And we did. We
got a good lesson on that.
They're different. And also when you open up the bonnet, you can see it says Ferrari Fly Yellow underneath there. It's pretty cool. And there's nothing. I'm not taking anything away from that, but I'm saying if this was Riviera Blue,
what
I'm saying, it would have done a much larger premium. So this is a special car, and the PTS Fly Yellow did something. But here's what happens here. This car was not like the first car, right?
That's right.
So this car has 33,000 miles, a little bit less mileage than the other car. But if you take a look at this, John, there was some things going on in this car, okay, as far as mods. The car has had mods as far as what, Jim? It had the Molly pistons. It had the Garrett turbos, aftermarket radio. The original seats were taken out of the car, right? It had the hardback sport seats that were taken out. But, I'll take a look at some of the mods. You can even see in the interior as far as the dashboard is concerned with the boost gauges, right? And so forth. So beautiful car, but not as pure and innocent as the first car.
No, but this is the definition of an opportunity because the car went to a very respected Porsche person, okay, who I would have to guess is going to really give this car the glory it deserves, because some cars have gone so past the line that they can't be brought back.
Yeah.
But you have a car it's wearing its original paint. He put meter readings in there, so you got your original paint. It's a paint to sample car. You put those stock turbos back on. You put a stock radio or put a Porsche Classic radio in there. Do a couple of things, and this car, ballpark could be anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 more than what it sold for.
Really?
It's paint to sample.
So can you find those seats again, or that's not?
Oh, I forgot about the seats. Yeah, you could find them. They're not cheap, but I think we had a set
cheap.
on.
Those seats got to be $15,000 easy.
We had a set on Pcarmarket that I think needed the backs to be restored. I forgot what they sold for. We could probably look it up, but they're definitely not cheap. They're definitely not cheap. But this car warrants it. Well,
so take a look at this. I'll give you a little bit of the video here. So what's interesting is...
And by the way, when you look at some of the other comps we're going to go through today, you'll see why this warrants it. You know what I mean?
No doubt. But $150,000 this sells for. The other one sells for $151,000. So same price. Paint to sample, yellow modifications, nice car, needs a little bit of loving, tender care, right? Would you say?
Well,
And the first car, a little bit more pure, concourse condition, not black on black. So
that's why you got to dig deep. When people look at those price value guides, all you're looking at is sales number. Take a look at this. Look at the difference between these two cars. This car, if this was not paint to sample, it probably would have sold for $120,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It got a premium.
It did, and I'm showing the video now of the car driving and some of the beauty shots of the car, and really stunning.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and all right, so there's a nice comp 993 turbo fly yellow. Let's move on to the next car, which is a 993 turbo.
Wow.
Okay, surprising. 996. So here we go. Here's kills bugs quickly. Is that what it is?
Fast. Kills
bugs fast.
Yeah.
This is the car that you saw in the promotional
the debut
posters,
ads
the debut ads for the car, which is arena red with a beige interior, right?
Yeah.
They call that beige.
I think it's cashmere beige. Yeah, we don't know what color interior was in all those ads because it was always like a rear quarter view.
Yeah, that's true
but,
too.
But you know, it's the outside that matters. Yeah.
But to me, the cashmere sets off that arena red beautifully.
Different car with the cashmere.
Different car. Same with the blue. The blue with the cashmere, and it changes the car. But here you go. So here is a same car, 38,000 miles. Again, one had 50,000, one had 40,000. This is right in the middle.
No, the last two we talked about were in this range too, 33
that's
and 39.
what I'm saying. One had 40,000, one had 33, and this has 38. So now we're talking about arena red, cashmere beige, 38,000 miles, same type of situation, a crowd favorite. There's no doubt when you look at this. I'm sorry, John, I'm showing half a car here. You can throw something at me when that happens. But take a look at this. All right, beautiful car. Listen, I am not an arena. Call this burgundy, okay?
Yeah,
I'm not a burgundy car guy. No. Ever in my entire life, but this just is spectacular. It really does. Look at the way that interior sets off with the exterior. And let's get these shots up here now. My computer's a little bit slow.
It's funny. Once
today.
in a while, because I'm not a burgundy person either, you could just eat it up. You know, I remember seeing years ago. I don't think I've seen one. It must have been 20 years. I remember a BMW 8 Series in a burgundy, and it was just. I was like, wow. Yeah, I don't like burgundy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
But on this car, I love it.
Look at this shot. This little aerial, front quarter shot. Beautiful. It's amazing. And you know what? The turbo twist wheels with the interior, the way that arena red, the light hits that color. It's like typical Porsche. Their colors are better than most everyone else's colors in the same shade. Burgundy. You change the name. Forget the word arena red. Burgundy. This is the most beautiful burgundy I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
You make it arena red, and Porsche owns their own.
What's nice is I think the cover photo in that car was in the sun. It really comes to life in the sun. That color.
Yeah, this picture over here. Yeah. Look at and it shows the shadows and the just really, really beautiful. So here you go. Quarter panel painted, not a big deal, right? But nicely presented car, very well responded to as far as I believe so, right? This was pretty well responded to.
Yeah, it was a great seller.
The seller was really nice. The car sold for, again, $150,000. Talk about consistency.
Yeah.
$150,000, about the same miles, right within $1,000 of the last two cars that sold. I guess we could say, if you want to buy a 993 turbo, that you really can expect to pay $150,000-ish for a mid-mileage, nicely presented car.
Yeah, honestly described car.
An honestly described car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good information, man. If I'm about to go buy a 993 turbo right now, this is making me feel like there's a good gauge of where I should be and what I should expect to pay, no?
Yeah, absolutely. But again, it also shows you got to look at exactly what you're buying, because the buyers know what they're buying in a lot of these cases because you see the market speaking. Sometimes the sellers don't realize what they're selling. You can't just, put all these cars in the same category.
See these, John? Yeah, absolutely. So here we go. We're going to move on here. This is a beautiful arena red, 150 again plus the fee. Now we're going to go to a car that sold for a little bit more money. Okay, this is. Again, a 96 993 turbo, midnight blue metallic with is it cashmere, the same cashmere?
Same thing, but
cashmere beige interior.
The contrasting carpets.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So let's talk about that. What makes a car worth a premium? Like, why would somebody pay? This car sold for $180,000, $30,000 over the other three cars. Now, it had 27,000 miles, so it was the lowest mileage car. Just under 330, so it's 27,000 miles. The other one had 33, the arena red. So the mileage, listen, I understand that in the 20s is more valuable than in the 30s. But it's only 5,000 miles.
Yeah, I don't think the mileage, because when we get to the next car, you'll see that has the most of all of them, and that did good money too. It's the configurations. You know, to dumb it down for people, I like to say you can tell the cars that the dealers ordered for stock. And then you could tell the ones that somebody special ordered to their taste. This is one of those cars, and that's why this happened. This, you know, the dealer wasn't going to order blue with the blue carpet and all this stuff. That is so beautiful.
Yeah, unless the dealer was an enthusiast, and a lot of Porsche dealers may be enthusiasts as well. But I agree with you 100%. Special car, spec'd out differently. And now, obviously, worth more money. But I want to go through some of these photos, and I'm going pretty quickly here, but I want to get to the interior because that was killer. The deviated carpet.
Yeah, and by the way, the photos could have been better of that car. They weren't bad, but I mean, you could have really made this thing look like what it is, you know, and give it its glory.
100%. The photos were kind of subpar at best, and that's why when this car was running, we were saying that, man, oh man, if this was a professional photo shoot, or even
it deserved it.
It deserved it in a field with the doors open and great lighting, but not very good photos. But you know what? People knew.
People knew what it was.
People knew what it was. I mean, look at the deviated carpet where you have that dark blue against the cashmere. Can you imagine the difference if that had cashmere carpets and so forth? Okay, nice car, clean car, gorgeous, low mileage, stunning, no stories, deviated carpet, seat belts are blue. But it did have a painted hood, okay? And I'm really happy to see that, you know, a painted panel is not panicking people, you know? And we do a real good job bringing really nice cars to market, and I think people are starting to understand that. You know, they'll ask questions, they'll do their due diligence, they'll be smart, but they're coming with a nice trust factor that the cars on here are of a certain level.
And by the way, the Arena Red one, he disclosed a painted quarter, you know. So again, you know, it's like what you said, people aren't panicked because when you get to a point that you say you want a car, you have to be a realist. These are 20, 30-year-old cars. Something is most likely going to be painted in a lot of scenarios. So it's either you don't get a car or you make some sacrifices. Yeah.
These videos are made in the horizontal, so I mean the vertical, so they don't really show up well in the video, but I'll pop this one up for a second. You know, I think he just did a nice walk-around video on the car, but it doesn't show up that. Again, the presentation was at best subpar, you know, but the car spoke for this. The car.
Yeah, and he was very responsive, though.
Well, he's a great seller,
he
very
showed the
responsive.
car to people. He answered people. People don't get how important that is.
Well, you know what, Jim? We always say that we're going to do a segment on that, and we can't. Those of you that are watching here, we have sellers that put cars up, and they go MIA. They don't respond to people. If you're not going to build the trust and respond to people, then don't auction your car. And if you are going to respond, you are going to have the best opportunity to get the money that you want, and everyone wins because they get the answers they want, and their comfort level is okay to bid. We can't stress that enough. Remember, all you have are pictures, words, and you as the seller to respond. If you could put those together, you will enjoy this process. It's a wonderful process to auction a car if you're engaged. You know, so we'll get into that another time, but you know how passionate we are about that. Yeah. So here you go, $180,000 plus the buyer's premium, right? There's your market on that one, and then we're going to go to. We have two more of these. We're going to go quickly here. Here's you know, listen, I'm a silver sucker. Okay, I love silver, and it is just with the shadows, the way these cars show up. Another 1996 993 turbo. This particular car, again, 38,000 miles. Showed very.
This one had 44. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry to correct you.
Am I in the wrong car here?
You might be.
Am I in the wrong car? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Arena Red. I didn't switch. Oh, that printed twice.
You want this one?
Excuse me. Reset. Yeah, I got it. No, yeah, absolutely. Okay, I forgot. This is the flamenco red.
Yeah.
Okay, 1996 993 turbo, Polar silver with the flamenco red interior. Now this could have had Boxster, it could have had lipstick in the interior, it could have had any color red, and it would have been well received.
Yes.
But take a look at this, and you'll see what a beautiful. Listen, I am in love with silver, and I am super in love with silver with the red interior. Classic Porsche. But look at this. What a great shade of red.
That's amazing. And I love and one and I'm not a mod guy on a lot of Porsches. I either want a hot rod or I want a stock car. The 996 steering wheel, which I don't know if you're on the interior right now.
I am the interior.
That really sets a 993 off nicely. You know?
I could not agree with you more.
It's nice.
That is an so this is a 996 steering wheel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, so this seller, this driver, whoever this was, they had the insight and the love for this steering wheel to put it in a 993.
Yeah.
See, not many people would take anything from a 996 and put it in a 993, right?
I know. But I've seen that done a few times, and it just works. It looks so good.
If I could put a thumbs up on the screen right now, man, with a big thumbs up, that is killer.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Good job.
If you remember Tom with the Zenith Blue C2S, he did
that too?
Yeah, and that car was well received also. We sold that car twice on here.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
I got to tell you, fantastic. Yeah, that's really beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So look at that interior. Beautifully kept. Beautiful presentation. Great color. I want to go back to the outside for a second so you can see a few photos of the car. Just a well-presented, beautiful machine. I'm not a big fan of the chrome wheels, so I like these wheels better. I think they just show nicer, but I understand that it's a preference. But look at that. Absolutely beautiful. So a couple of things about this car quickly.
Yep.
Private seller, 44,000 miles. The difference, John, I'm going to keep going through these pictures here. You could stay right on that. So the color difference, Jim, if this is silver with black, what are we talking about here?
Oh, it probably would have been priced a little under what the cars that had 38 and 33,000 miles sold for. You know, maybe high 130s, maybe 140, you know, depending on, again, good seller. So that adds some money back in. But you know, you're clearly getting the premium for the uniqueness of this car. And by the way, I would have a tough time picking from these cars if I was going to pick one. You know, that these are all nice examples.
They really are. Take a look at that. So here you go now. So this car does $162,500 plus the premium, right? And it goes above the other cars and just below that blue with beige.
Yep.
Again, more mileage than the blue car.
Yeah, I think it's a mileage thing here. I think those two are equal cars.
Yeah. You know what? They are. They are. So your midnight blue with the cashmere against the silver with the flamenco. You put them next to each other. They'll with the same mileage, same condition. They're probably going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like the red interior. Maybe too loud and so forth. I am in love with this car.
I am too. It's a supply-demand thing. You're right. A lot of people won't drive that, but there's a lot of people that want it, and they don't exist. So I'm always a fan of the oddball stuff.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, it looks like lipstick almost, the interior, right?
It's amazing. It's amazing. I liked that color since it came. It was always weird, but I liked it.
So a couple of other quick things about this car as I put up another few pictures for you to drool over is Bilstein coilover suspension, Fab Speed muffler bypass, and exhaust tips. So there were some things on here that people would probably want to do anyway, and adds nothing major, nothing that you can't take off.
And he had a major service.
So there you go.
Yeah.
162.5 plus the fee, major service, a couple of little nice mods, beautiful color combination. Makes sense. It fits right into the theme of these other values that we just talked about.
Yep.
So I'm going to go right on over here to the next one. Okay, this is the one that, that was different. This was a roof look, but it was not a roof. It had knockoff roof wheels. It has a wrap. It's a black car that was wrapped in this red with painted bumpers. In red.
Right.
When I first saw this car, you could take a look. My jaw dropped. I was like, wow, that is absolutely stunning. And then I started to look around. I'm not knocking the car.
It's an awesome driver.
It's an awesome driver, and you know when you wrap it and you fog and you smoke out lights and they're knockoff roof wheels, and again, obviously the price is incommensurate with everything else, but you know this is a different car, and we wanted to bring something else for everyone to see over here. That's not like a car that fits all that checks all the boxes. This one has some things that you may or may not like, and the audience changes.
Right.
This happened to have not sold. It got up to 114.
Yeah, and he just decided not to take it.
He decided not to take it, which, hey, welcome to the America. But look at it. Good-looking car. But there's a way to look at a car that's, again, black car, wrapped, painted bumpers, what else is under there? Who knows? And you have a car that stopped at 114, which makes sense.
It makes sense
when you look at this car for what was done to it and what it didn't or did have compared to what's sold at the 150 ranges, up or down. This car makes sense. And quite frankly, probably should have sold. Close to that number, would you agree?
Because if you fix the bumpers and buy the original wheels or a real set of roof wheels and do what it needs, then you're going to be into this thing for 130, and that's with that mileage, that would be top in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, listen, I think we're going to stop there with the 993 turbos. I have to tell you, as if I'm a buyer and I'm looking for some insight and some help in buying these cars, this was right on it.
Yeah.
So you know what to spend. You now know what the market is. Now, here's the thing. Okay, and as a matter of fact, I didn't go through this at the beginning, just briefly, is the current market with the new turbos topping out above 250. I say that these are a bargain. We spoke about that. But, Jim, these, again, there were people that sold these for $120,000. Some of the cars that sold for $150,000, $155,000 about 7 or 8 months ago. They're probably pissed. You know?
Yes and no. You know, you got to look at service history. You got to look at a lot of things. There was a few that would be considered maybe bargains, but then it's not really a bargain. You know what I mean? Because it's really, these are like art. It's an emotional purchase.
Right.
And as long as you're in that general range, yes, $20,000 is a lot of money, but.
John, take a look at that.
In the grand scheme of things, 140, 150, 135, it's all in that range. Maybe it was, maybe this guy stepped up on this car because he didn't have to ship it as far, or who knows? I think who knows why that happened.
Yeah, but it's good news. It's good news that they kind of fell down and they kind of bottomed out a little bit. Now they're coming back. We're definitely seeing an increase in the value of these cars.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about some values going forward here for a few more moments. But in the 993 world, because we're not going to touch on it in our next quick segment here, we feel that these cars, although they've gone up, these still are good values right now.
They're good values. It is important to note, because it's relevant to the 993s, and what we're about to talk about is we are in a little bit of a market demand shortage. There's not a lot of cars, so that's going to increase some pricing, at some level, but that doesn't affect our opinion of what these cars are and the value they present at the prices they're selling them at. You know what I mean? But again, we do have a little bit of a supply issue because of the pandemic. We're just noticing a big uptick.
Yeah, so supply and demand comes into effect. There's no doubt about that. Just talk to the new Porsche dealers that don't even have enough inventory.
They don't have cars, right?
It's not enough cars. But however, again, when you look at a 993 and you look at the last air-cooled car, the most refined of all the air-cooled with cold air conditioning, somewhat cold air conditioning, reliability, beautiful ride,
and the only air-cooled turbo with all-wheel drive.
The only air-cooled.
Yeah. So if you value your life and you don't want the back end to come around, this is the only one you could buy.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I was stuck on that picture, John. I'm sorry, but so let's leave it there, and then I'm going to we're going to now regroup. So I think what we're going to do now, Jim, is we're going to answer a question. I think this is going to be again informative. Listen, this is our opinions. Let's do a little what's the word? A disclaimer? Yeah,
a little disclaimer.
Yeah, this is our opinions. This is just our opinions based on facts of cars that have sold, our knowledge and understanding of the market, Pcarmarket actual results, right?
At the end of the day, value is an opinion, right?
At the end of the day,
value it.
At the end of the day, value is an opinion, but we find it, we believe it's important that we share, what we can, because we do want people who are buyers to be in the know, to make good choices. So when they deal with Pcarmarket, they're actually feeling good about what they bought at the price they bought it and so forth. Because it's all you have is relationships in this business, and it's very important to us that our relationships are long and prosperous with our viewers and with our bidders and sellers and so forth. But
well, it keeps us on our game, too, because if we're publicly giving our opinion, if we're wrong, we're going to hear it, and that's good. We want to hear it.
Well,
people disagree. So,
and that's why we get a little bit, when we say that a car should be done at this reserve, there's some education behind it. It's not just that we're just saying, give your car away. If somebody wants $80,000 and the history shows the cars were at $65,000, don't kill the messenger.
Right.
It is what it is. Right. But at the end of the day, fairness on both sides is the goal.
So now we have to get to the question from Paul, who wants to know, going into 2021, what are the values, like the forecast, going to be we're going to take from 911 F-bodies up to the 964 non-turbos. Do we think they're going up? Do we think they're going down? Do we think they're going the same? Let's just try to answer that for him. I know we could spend 3 hours talking about that.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we both know it was a much broader question that he asked. We're going to narrow it down to the F-bodies through the 964s, and basically what does the forecast look like for non-turbo variants of the 911 from the F-body to the 964.
Right.
So let's get right into that. And I tried to put a couple of cars up here that we're going to be able to show. So here we go. I mean, I'm looking, and I want to know, what is an F-body? What should I expect in 2021 for the F-body to be worth? And I just want to share a few things. And I put some notes here, so forgive me for bringing my eyes down here. But after a crazy run, and I'll give you for instance, I ran into, when I was in California, I went into a couple of showrooms about 4 or 5 years ago. And I remember a 911S, like a 69S or a 73S. And how much is the car? And somebody sitting behind the desk would just be, it's $3.25. Didn't even want to get up. Didn't even want to talk. I don't know, maybe I was dressed wrong, or it looked like I couldn't afford the car. I don't know. And then I walk into another place, and the guy was like, it's $290. It was like candy. Everyone was paying top dollar, crazy money for these beautiful 911s, F-body cars. And then it's over. Mm-hmm. So we know that over the last few years that the cars have crashed. Yeah. And I'm being careful here because I don't want to, I'm not catastrophizing it, but
yeah. I mean, the real blue chip cars, people are still paying for them.
Make that very clear. Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. The premium cars that have no excuses, well documented histories and so forth, are going for very fair money, for very good money, and great. We don't know. We're very happy about that. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the really nice cars that mostly trade in the real world, mm-hmm. Not in private hands, are cars that the cars have dropped. The market has dropped on these cars. So, we saw what we think is the bottom on these cars, Jim, right?
I think so.
We think, the F-bodies, I mean, they've come down to a drastic drop across the board. So we just want to show a few of these cars. Here's an Aussie Blue 911S. We've highlighted this car that sold for $160,000. Car like this easily would have been $2.25 or more, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And they have dropped. And these were great opportunities. And some of them have dropped a lot more than this. This is a really nice color combination, a really nice car. And I was showing that. I wanted to show you another one over here, which is, you remember this car, Jim?
That was beautiful, yeah.
Was the, I guess, what color is this? This is
I don't remember the name of the color, but the car, from what I recall, because it was a while ago, so I'm being really quizzed here, but that car won some awards.
A PCA Parade concourse car.
It was amazing.
This car didn't sell and then winded up selling, I think, on on Mecum or something like that. I think it was
Mecum, and I think it brought around like 120 or something like that.
It didn't sell here for 120, and then it went to Mecum and did 120.
Well, you know what is in the defense of that guy, he bought the car when you were, mentioning that the pricing, I think he had like $270 invested into that car. So it was a tough blow, but he decided he wanted the car to sell, so he did sell it. He just had to really make sure before he took that kind of a hit. So there you go. That's the whole point. So while these cars were going down in price, a lot of people were holding strong, and they weren't letting them go for these prices. And then all of a sudden they did, and that allowed for the market to really settle in. Yeah. At the 110, 120, 130 mark for a 69S, when they were previously 180, 200, 210, 220 or better, for the premium cars out there. That's kind of what happened with the 930 turbos too, right? It's like everyone's around a pool, and like there's one person in it, and it's like the party can't start till like half the people get in the pool, and then it just starts going. And now the 930 turbos, they're rocking and rolling. There you go. People selling, people buying. So the market has to adjust. People have to accept the market, and then once it does, they start selling at a lower price, and then they start and commerce starts to happen again, and then they will start. So here we go. We're saying basically, and I'll show you a picture of another one over here. We're basically saying that these cars, here was that silver one, that silver 911L short wheelbase, that's 68. That got up to like 54,000, and this is so what's happening now is we're feeling that these cars bottomed out, but they stabilized. Right. They stabilized. The 911, the F-body cars stabilized, and now they're starting to peak back up again. So we are probably in what we would consider in a rating. We want to rate these as far as, what kind of buy rating. Is it a good time to buy? Is it an average time to buy? We both agreed this is like a B+, the 911s. We're not talking about the special one-off, factory race cars, special editions. I mean, those are a whole different world. And there's guys, and that's where people get confused. I mean, like we had a T on there that did, I think, $130,000, but it was an original paint car. It was actual mileage. It won the Porsche Parade. Yeah. It was like a 4-owner car. The guy bought it from like his best friend who passed away, who was like one of the long-term owners of the car. So like, $130 for a T is a lot of money, but that's that blue chip, like that's, but the issue is you get a bunch of other people who think their car's worth that. We've sold a few nicely restored Ts, $70,000, $80,000.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
there's a big disparity there, and people have to educate themselves on that. Don't get fooled.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, but here's the good news. Here's the good news. 9 F bodies have hit the bottom.
Yeah.
They have crawled back up. Nice cars are selling for a really fair price as opposed to 4 or 5 years ago. So it's definitely a B. We were going to give it an A, but we didn't really want to push it that hard. But a B plus to buy an F body right now. When you come on Pcarmarket and take a look at these cars, there's some beautiful cars at very fair numbers, and it's market correct.
Yes.
One thing about buying a car on Pcarmarket for the buyer and seller, you really see the market. It's really, really correct. It's not hype. It's not a pool or a vision of grandeur. It's really, really the market, and that's comforting to know that. And these cars, the 911 F bodies, are opportunities right now. So we predict that the car's stabilized, and they're going to be gradually increasing in value.
Yeah, and if not, there's really nowhere else for them to go. I mean, they're not going to be $30,000.
And that's why we say buy those cars and enjoy them, because there's a lot of air under them that's going to hold these cars at least where they are right now.
That's right.
Okay, so then we're going to go now to the G bodies. I hope this pops up here. Hello, G body. Okay, here you go. That one doesn't want to open. Okay, here's a G body, an '87 Carrera. All right, here's a nice picture of an '87 Carrera. Okay, so here's the thing. If you haven't watched, look at episode 10. Episode 10 on Pcarmarket Live, Inside the Market. Episode 10, we'll talk about the G body cars.
Yep.
You know, in a little depth to give you a little bit of a ground and a background for what's happening over here. What we're talking about. Here's what's interesting: as the F bodies went crazy years ago, the G bodies never took advantage of that. You know when they say when the tide goes up, all boats rise? Well, the F bodies shot up, and the G's kind of stayed.
Yeah, small increase.
Small increase. Isn't that wild? You know, like it was like this and this. So the point is but what we did see when the F bodies started to come down, there was a pause on the increasing of the G bodies. So they stayed at a fair price, and they didn't go up when things were flying with the Fs, and they did not drop at least anything significantly while the F bodies dropped. So that was a good thing for the people that bought those and the opportunities that existed. So we saw a pause in the increased values over the last few years, but recently the G bodies have been rising because of good reason.
Yeah.
Okay, now the F and the G bodies are closer than they've ever been in value.
Yeah.
In fact, it's shocking what you have to spend for a G body now, like an anniversary or a really low mileage example of a Carrera, especially with the G50.
Yeah.
And then you look at the F bodies, the base F body cars, and they're really close. So point is, the G bodies still provide a very good opportunity because they didn't fly up and they didn't come down that much. But there are some little caveats in there and little things to look for maybe some bargain. And we talked about this, like a 74 narrow body.
Yeah.
And I'll pop a couple of pictures up over there. Do I have one over here? Where you can actually find a decent value, no?
Yes, you can. You can. Because, I think with a lot of those cars, a lot of them just sit out there with high asking prices. Yeah. And I think some people actually just get to a point where they want to sell them. And those cars can be bought fair. You know, we've had a couple of nice, like 75, 76, 911S. And some of these cars were like either original mileage, nice condition, or like restored, gone through a nice respray and a motor done. And, under 60, some cases under 50, and for a car that's like done, that's nice. That's really nice. Yeah, no, there's no doubt. They're beautiful cars. They're fun to drive. The values of these cars still exist. As a matter of fact, I think we put on here a B rating. Okay, not quite the F bodies because they fell at the opportunity that exists there. But how the G bodies are getting pricey. They're at or near 964 and 993 pricing. It's really weird right now. It is. And if you look since that last episode we've had quite a few more G bodies sell, and it kind of just like reaffirms what we said in that episode. I mean, it's just showing it. That anniversary that just sold, case in point, Yeah, do I have that? This is the one I'm trying to load over here, and it's not loading, is that anniversary. There it is. So this is an 89 anniversary, 25th. It sold for $62,500, plus fees like $65. Yeah, and we had that black one, which is rarer, that sold, it had 54,000 miles. And that sold for like 55, like last year. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it did have a Carfax, but it was mitigated. The car was a solid car. So that just shows 30,000 miles more, and what is that, $7,000 more in price? Even the same region of the country. One was in New Jersey, one was in New York. So it's just showing there's definitely a little uptick there on those cars.
There's an uptick on the G's. We do believe that. Listen, when you look at the anniversaries, limited production cars, premium cars, look what that '89 did with 6,000 miles. The linen car went to 104,000, whatever.
133,000. Yeah.
I'm sorry, almost $135,000. Right.
Yeah.
G-body cars are still have value in them. There's still an upside to them. You are not going to steal them like you could have a few years ago, but that's okay.
Not, yeah.
But that's okay, because when you look at a nice car, a nice G-body car that you could buy for the high 30s, mid 40s, right, like a decent car that doesn't need a lot of work, but you can enjoy the car. Where's it going?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why there's some great values in the G-bodies. We give it a B rating, not quite as high as the F-bodies right now because of the current market. So that's our assessment of the G-bodies. And finally, we're going to get to only the 964s in this segment. We'll reach back and we'll get back into this again. But the 964, let me see if I pop one up over here. All right. Is that a 964? Yes, it is. Here's an 93 964 C2. That sold for 78,000, so over a little about 80 grand. So here's the thing: there's not many of these for sale. This is a weird car. This is a weird car because sometimes I think these things should be more money, and sometimes I see them sell, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money. It's a weird car. There's not a lot for sale. The convertibles are worth pennies on the dollar compared to the coupes.
Yeah, buy a cab if you like a cab, man. There's some value there.
964 cab, there's value there. There's value there, 100%, because you could still buy them for really fair, low prices. I mean, it's all relative.
Yeah.
Low meaning compared to, but a high mile, and it's almost like mileage doesn't matter on these. If you can have an 80, 90,000 mile car, and I say high mileage, I mean, most 1990 automobiles can have 300,000 miles, but you get a 70, 80,000 mile car that was well maintained with original paint, and that car is still going to do 80 grand.
Yeah, well, that's why that one did that. That's the nicest. You can't get a nicer car with mileage like that. The seller was, first of all, just, the guy really takes care of his stuff. I dealt with him. Guy's amazing. He sold his G-body also, and he did well on that. And, the car was just so well sorted. I mean, we had a red one that was really nice, 964, that sold considerably less than that. But, this car, the motor was done. It was Concours level. So it just shows people know exactly what they're buying. But, 964s, you can't get them. The Targas, too.
Yeah, the 964 Targa. Here's a 1990. Here's a C4. Okay, that was on a while ago. I don't think this sold. This is what I mean. This car got up to 53. I think he wanted more than that. Like,
which color was it? I can't see.
This is the white with the white interior.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one, it was in Canada, I think.
Yeah, let's see how good your memory is. Florida.
It's not the car.
Davis, Florida. I'll show it to you here. We want you here.
Oh, yeah. That didn't sell? Could have sworn that car sold.
Maybe it did. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so. No.
Wow, that's shocking.
No, bid up to 53.5, but
that's a fluke.
Well, it happens. But here's the thing, value-wise, the 964. So not many for sale. They're going for big dollars when they're really clean cars. High mileage is okay as long as the car's well sorted. Probably, if you had to take a test or a questionnaire of every Porsche lover, this may be their favorite model. It still looks like the frog headlights in the front. But it's a little more modern. The shift's beautiful. It feels like a rock solid machine, and they're absolutely a joy to drive. But they were eaten up. A lot of people bought them. The singers and a lot of the people now that are using them for making hot rods, outlaws.
In fact, we have one live right now. That's a nice little hot rod outlaw type of car.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
well, I'm gonna go right to it right now.
Yeah.
Auctions. What is it? Just it's on here right now. Let me go.
It's beautiful. Yeah. It's got
what color is it?
It's like that ice. It's a paint to sample.
By the way, there's the 92 964 Carrera Cabriolet that's on there right now, a Lamborghini. And let's see what Jim is talking about. Bear with me here, folks. What color is it?
It's like an ice blue. We could just edit this part out.
I can't find it.
Yeah, just go to the most recent. Go to the turnstile on the top. The carousel.
I never do that. What color is it?
It's like an ice blue, like a diamond silver type of thing.
Okay, you ready? Here we go.
Yeah, the car was signed by like Rod Emery. It's cool.
It was signed by Rod Emery?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It was owned by Mr. 993.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
What color is this?
It says it there.
Oh, yeah, it's diamond blue, metallic over silver gray. It was spend time with Rudy Mancinas. And beautiful, yeah, very nice. So this is on Pcarmarket now, and when this goes live, it will still be live because it went live. Just went live. And seller is a private seller out of Miami. But here you go. You know, so these are, it's at $35,000 with 6 days to go. It's getting a little bit of quick love.
He's getting love on it because look at it. I mean, what the money he has into it, everything has been touched and gone through, and I love the sports seats. I know you're a fan of sports seats. That's got real sports seats in it.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me get to those seats. Yeah, I'm a big fan of sports seats. Big fan of sports seats. Wow. I like when there's a lot of pictures like this, but there you go. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Wow. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I love these seats so much. We're building our hot rod downstairs. We're going to show you a car we're building here that I think you're going to love. It's not for sale. We're going to build it, but it's the seats we're putting in it are the 964 seats. They're going to be custom built as far as design, fabrics, and leather and stuff. But, yeah, we love these seats. So, anyway, this is, again, the 964 is weird. You got to find one, and when you do, you may have to step up a little bit to get what you want as far as color, and you cannot be as picky because there's not a lot of them available. But they are great cars. They're such joys to drive and own. We would say that they're buying, right now, they're at a C. Again, that's the hardest one to forecast to me. I mean, you're going to have to
let's just be realistic. The reason we're saying it's a C is, you know, if you bought one 5 years ago, it would have been an A or a B. You know what I mean? So, but there's like you like to say, there's a lot of air under them. I don't think they're going anywhere, but I don't think you're going to buy one and make money on it. You know what I mean? So that's why we say it's a C.
Listen, let me make this very, very clear.
Short term.
A C meaning anything above a D is a buy opportunity.
Yeah.
We would say if a car like this is not a time to buy. The car is overvalued. It's not going anywhere. That's not the case here.
Right.
You could buy nice 964s at fair prices. You're going to pay a premium for really nice ones that are really special colors. We already know that.
Right.
But absolutely, a C is still a good opportunity to buy a car because, like you said, these are not over the crazy. They're not crazy.
That's right.
You know, there's still opportunity, and there's not a lot where they can go on the downside. You know, so 100% we think that 964s are a great opportunity. But when you look at the F bodies, I think you have a really good opportunity as far as
people are waking up. They realize that there's a lot of value. I mean, when you get a car that you can't buy a car and restore it, you know what I mean, for anywhere near what the asking price is, that's when the light has to go off in your head, like kind of like with the 356s we were talking about too, right? It's like you have to just say, okay, this is starting to make some sense here. Yeah, I mean, you can't buy a nice solid car, do a motor and interior and fully restore the car and have 80 grand into the car, including the price of the car. You can't do that.
Right.
So when you could buy a restored car under $100,000, that's when people are starting to wake up.
Yeah, it's just a reality.
Yeah.
It's the reality and common sense of the world. It really is. So listen, I have to stop it there because we are definitely longer than we wanted to go. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to our first segment of 2021. The team is back, construction is on, and we'll keep you up to date on what's happening here. If you're interested, we'll put some pictures on our Instagram and our Facebook account. Check out our store, the cool decals with the community, the Porsche community, and the Porsche collector and the enthusiast, and that one emblem is really beautiful. And we're so happy and proud when people put those on their cars. So check it out in our store, as well as the shirts and all the other cool stuff and the gear that we have. But I can't thank you enough. Welcome back. Stay in tune with what we have. We have some really cool cars coming on there, mostly Porsche. We're about Porsche, but as you know, we're also selling for other European collectibles and enthusiast cars because those are also in your garages, and we want to be the resource that you use. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.